My name is Claudia Nario. I studied psychology in Universidad Católica de Chile, and I have an MSc in organizational behavior by the University of London. All my life, I have worked in HR all my life, and it's really because it's my passion. Since I was little, actually, I was really interested by human beings, the way they behave and why they do that. And my passion was really how people behaved at work. I started out really young as a consultant. I did freelance consulting for PricewaterhouseCoopers back in Latin America. I'm speaking, and for other smaller consulting firms. Then I started my own consulting firm. I was less than 30 years old, and it was with a partner. Then I received an invitation to join a company and my career shifted to working as an HR executive. So I was invited to this bigger company that is, and at those times, and still is, the number one employer of my country, and it was top 10 in Latin America, which was LAN Airlines, which was a hugely successful airline in an industry that is really difficult. That started thinking of my next step, and that is how I ended up here and in Europe. Right now, I work again as a consultant, mainly for the Center for Creative Leadership based in Brussels. So I travel a lot to deliver mainly leadership development training courses all around Europe. You might think it's simple and difficult at the same time. Simple because it's a very basic human skill that actually even animals have it in a way. Yeah. So leadership is really basic. It has always existed, for the better or for the worse. Yeah. But it's about and when you ask somebody what leadership is and what they should do theoretically, almost everybody knows. The difficult thing is to get it done. And it's really difficult to get it done well. That good leaders may be distinguished because of what they provoke in their people. Okay. Yeah? So when you see a good leader, you see that people are committed, they respect the leader, they want to participate, and they feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. They know where they're going, so they have a sense of direction. And even if they did not participate on the whatever strategic goals, because not always that is possible in a big organization, at least they understand where they're going and why they're going that way. And perhaps the most difficult thing, the most difficult piece, is that they know where they all fit together, and they are not fighting against each other nor the rest of the organization. So there is a sense of alignment. The first thing is becoming aware, from my point of view. And one of the ways in which you can train, for example, how to create trust with your people is, first of all, become aware of the impact it has on you, on yourself, on feeling or not feeling trust towards others, and to becoming aware of what creates that trust for you, whatever. So sometimes to teach little tools or techniques might help. Is how to build up a meeting in order to help his direct reports better in delivering, how to empower, and how to, for example, balance the need to create a feeling of accountability in your people and still not lose control. How you balance that? There are some things in which you can direct them to reflect, understand, and become more aware. Not in the essence. In the essence, I feel that the struggles, the challenges, the pains, the are the same. In some Latin American countries, you can have authoritarian practices on the part of leaders, and have them still get away with it, and be pretty successful. I mean successful, between quotes, because within an organization, because in the long run, I think it has its toll. But if you look at, I don't know, leadership styles in Europe or the US, they are the same practices, bullying and coercive style in order to get things done. In some countries in Latin America, the hierarchical differences embedded in culture let some leaders get away with that easier. For me, when you are helping other human beings to grow and flourish, there is something really magical that can happen there. And you really feel you're helping, and you really feel connected to something greater than yourself. So I think that's the best for me. The difficult thing is that they need to want to be trained. I don't know how to say that better, but uh, if a person does not want to be trained as a good leader, he cannot be trained well. And that sometimes it might be a little bit frustrating, because um, it's difficult for adults to change. So that's perhaps the most difficult thing. But if you can really help and make a difference in a little thing for somebody that is struggling, it's a huge impact for that person.